You can all hear us okay, because it's our first one? Great.
Excellent.
That's the check's done. There's a bit of feedback, we're just... Yeah, we're just going to get all this all leveled out before... That's not me, that's fine.
Are you sure?
I think it's because I was there. Yeah.
We're just figuring this out before we bring on our guest. We're very excited.
Good, this is good. People are already ready for this.
Some little Nevermore Academy students.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just got distracted by Inky, one of the scariest characters on the internet. Guys, we're about to host our first Q&A. You're always lovely, lovely audiences. All we ask is you make our guests feel welcome, you give them a big cheer, big applause, and the first one is always the most exciting. So,
start clapping and cheering now!
Good. Chill, stretch out, kick back, yeah, do whatever you want.
Okay, tell us about your mother.
Oh yeah, can we get the green microphone on? If it's not...
I was having my Titanic moment there.
There we go. Oh yeah, we can get them to draw you like one of their French girls.
Yeah, keep it up here.
Yeah.
How are we doing? Yeah, alright, it's early, right? It's a little bit early.
There's a real thing. You are our second person I think ever we've had from Wednesday, and
our third we did have.
Oh yes, yeah.
What, Victor and Georgie?
Yeah. It's always interesting, like to see the crowds that come out for you guys. They're always
there's some great questions.
Very excited.
Yeah. That's a great Wednesday down there.
Yeah. So good. I love it. How are you finding the whole phenomena of? Hang on 1 second, we're getting some feedback on the mics. Yeah, this is what happens always with our first interview. We figure out...
It's me, it's 100% me.
You got native electrics, aren't you?
Yeah.
We should have warned you, Oliver has got a lot of robotics experience, so there will be some feedback.
Well, I'm actually AI, I'm part AI. That's just what is happening at the moment in the industry. You know, all the actors are becoming AI, so yeah, I'm part of that equation now.
Very on trend. Well, this is we were just briefly backstage talking about the strikes and things, and obviously AI is a big conversation those days. But you're a very young man to my eyes. How do you feel about all this new world that's coming? Are you quite into AI? Are you quite enjoying it?
I think, unfortunately, it's sort of an inevitability in the industry. You know, we've gone so far down the AI track. There's no reversing it. And look. Oppenheimer recently came out, right? And everyone thought when the nuclear bomb came out it was the end of the world, and AI is now here, and it's going to cause a lot of problems, but hopefully there'll be some positives to it as well, like the medical things. But in terms of us or our industry, it's just like seeing what happens. Obviously there's the AMPTP and the strike at the moment that they're negotiating about the use of AI. But I'm not going to bore you guys with that, but yeah, you can do your own research into that. But yeah, they're just trying to protect us and allow us to keep doing this.
It's a weird time for like the industry in general, obviously, because it's not just AI in terms of writing and acting stuff. There is that sort of whole thing now about your whole identity, like, is kind of, if people don't strike and stand up for this sort of stuff, they can literally own your face and things like that.
Yeah, it is a little bit worrying. Yeah, but it's the new world, isn't it? You just gotta, I guess, keep fighting against it, otherwise it will happen and there'll be nothing that you can do about it once it's done.
Well, sorry, I'm just going to talk to William on tech. We are getting some real feedback on stage, so I don't know where that's coming from. I don't want anyone's ears to start bleeding. Unless that's what you want. So let's talk about you and acting and everything else. How has this whole phenomenon been for you? Because it's still quite new, I imagine, and quite exciting.
Yeah, it's really new. So I'm obviously still very young in my career. But yeah, when obviously things came out, it was just a phenomenon. Like what you guys turned it into. Couldn't have expected that sort of.
Yeah, we will take credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, me and on the phone with Tim, and it's just like.
That's enough said. He's the guy. But yeah, it was so surprising for us. Like as we were making it, we were when you're in something, you don't realize if it's going to be big or small or whatever, and then first week that it came out, it was just like insane. And then the next week it got even bigger, and we were just like, oh my god, wow.
Were you aware of the Addams Family as a whole, or was it something that you never really sort of knew about because you were young?
Yeah, so like obviously there's the original, well there's like the 20s, like the 20s Addams Family, then there's the 60s Addams Family, then there's the 90s Addams Family, like all before I was born. But then obviously, so you go back and you do like a little bit of research and you do it. But yeah, we had no idea. Obviously, it's like a loved franchise, so
yeah, it's such a big thing to walk into, and like such a, because no one's really changed it the way you guys changed it. So it's like obviously such a risk in certain terms of like beloved IP, but yeah, you just made it for a new generation. To see like how, like you're saying, how big it's got, it's so amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean that's like credit to the people on the show, you know, like Miles and Al, the writers, and Tim, like his vision, and everyone else, like all the crew. It's like it's really a collaborative process. You know, all the people in the writers' room who are coming up with the ideas. It's take a new idea and reinvent it for you guys, for the new generation, for like my generation, you know, who didn't grow up with the Addams Family, and that was probably the most surprising thing. You can take something from the old and make it brand new.
Yeah, and it's so accessible. It's still got lessons and things to come with it. It's really great. One thing I did want to know, because you were just talking about working with the team and the crew and everything, and some people find this a boring question to answer, but everyone finds it really fascinating. Tell us a typical day on set for you. Like, how does it start? How would a day play out for you?
What, like an average day on set, or on that set specifically?
That set specifically.
That set specifically. Let's think. All right. So rule number one is that Jenna did everything in terms of like the actors. We were like the best backup dancers in the world. She was like running the show. She was like Beyonce, just like out in the front all the time. So there was like a lot of stuff. We'd turn up, you know, we'd like hang about, you know, in trailers, but then we'd go, oh, no one's to sit by themselves. Let's all go hang out with each other. So we'd all hang out in the green room, and then they would go, all right, Jenna's back tight from carrying you guys. You need to come to set and like stand about and speak a little bit. So we would do that, and then, you know, they would go, all right, cool. So you get there at like, how the film industry works, you get there at like, you get pick up to 4 in the morning or something like that, and then you're in the hair and makeup, and then you put the costume on, and then you wrap at like 6 o'clock, whatever, and if they don't go over, and yeah, that's like an average day, but there's so much fun that happens in between, movie magic.
I love your description of your job then was, and you go out and you stand around and speak a little bit.
Yeah. Well, like, there's different... Yeah. But like, there's different types of acting, you know, there's like, there's, you know, when you're standing in the background, you're still acting, but it's like, you're not doing Hamlet every night, you know, there's like certain places you have to go when you're doing some real, like, serious material, and this is a fun show, you know, we're playing school children, so you have to be fun, you know, you can't be like, okay, well, I'm playing a school child, I'm doing it, you know, a school child goes to school thinking about method acting, everyone goes, you know, just like to hang out and play.
Well, this is interesting. Were you always wanting to act, or is this something, because sometimes on shows like this, like Harry Potter's a really interesting one for this, like a lot of those guys, they just sort of like, yeah, I was walking down the street and someone went, do you want to be in this? And I was like, yeah, but were you trained, or did you?
So I started acting when I was 9 in like theatre. That's like where I started, like as a young kid. My first thing was like, I played Fat Sam in Bugsy Malone.
Ah, yes!
And then like I did Billy Elliot, like a few more things like Les Mis and stuff. And then I sort of got into screen acting when I was 18. And then it came along when I was 19. There was a film I did, and then this came along when I was 20. So yeah, that's in the journey.
Are you a singer dancer as well? You named a couple of musicals there.
If needed, I can sing and dance. I went to a theatre school that was singing, dancing, and acting. But I think if you guys, you know, saw my dancing, you might, you know, look both ways. You know. But yeah.
If we want to see some dance.
That's certainly not happening at whatever time.
Thank you. This interview is over.
No dancing. You guys will be dancing first. Yeah, I tell you what, the dancing in the show was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. There's one story I have. Like, so I don't know if anyone saw the mermaid that happens in the bit. So how we did that is obviously Jenna has like her massive dance that she all made up herself and went viral, and everyone started doing it. When we were doing it, you know, she obviously came to set, didn't have any choreographers, she just made it up.
Wow.
and there was this bit that I was doing in the background. I was working with Jono, who plays my twin in the show, Davina, and I'm doing this thing, right? And then they told me to stop doing it, so I was like, oh, I'm in trouble, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm distracting from Jenna. And then after I did it, Tim comes up to me for the next take and he goes, all right, Oliver, let's see this worm thing you got going on here. So they bring the camera like right up to me here, and they go, all right, let's go. And so I do the mermaids, and I get up, and I think I'm gonna kiss at Emma or something, or like I was originally gonna blow it at Gwendolyn because we're having a laugh about it. But yeah, I got up, did that, and then blew a kiss at her, and Tim was like, all right, we got it, let's move on.
Amazing.
That's amazing. You can do the worm, can't you, Matt?
I can do the worm, but yeah, I can. It's my one power move.
Amazing.
I'm not doing it now. Imagine that's the start of my comic, I just break my arm trying to impress you. But yeah. It's a great breakdance move. Can you do any of the power moves?
Not at all. No, so I learned the worm, but so the outfit that I wore for the episode 4 dance, I gave them the memo, like our costume designer Mark Sutherland. He said, what costume do you want to wear? And I was like, find the worst suit that you can find. The most like cringy layers, everything. No, that's a beautiful suit. That's a beautiful suit.
Primark's finest.
It's beautiful. Look, ladies
Highly
don't mind.
flammable.
But yeah, this one was just like the shiny, and we sort of like worked it around, and then we wanted to go for the John Travolta Saturday Night Fever look.
Yeah.
So I had the jacket and everything, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna go without the jacket. And where was I going with this? The boots were key in it. There was like these boots with like shackles and stuff, and when I did the one, this was it. Part of the dance, when Tim came up to me and like wanted me to do it, he came up behind me, like, and I was like, do you want me to do it seriously? And he was like, yeah, go full out. So I was like, okay. I didn't realise he was stood behind me. So as I'm doing this one, there's this pair of white boots flying up in the air. And I went up to, I think, Georgie after and said, how did that look? He went, mate, you nearly kicked him in the face. Right here, boots flying like that. You know, so yeah, I probably would have got fired for that. But,
No way, Tim loves it. He loves
Tim's a
it.
great guy.
I love this also, like, just, Tim. Like, well, on a first name basis.
Well, you work with people, it does sound weird, like, of course, you know, there's a whole thing of, like, name dropping, you know, I've got to pick that one, put that in my
I mean,
basket.
No, you're allowed to.
You're allowed,
We're talking a specific story where you nearly kicked Tim Burton in the face, or Timmy B as I call him.
You were mentioning like how nice it was to be part of something that's a reboot essentially. If you could be in a reboot for anything, like your dream casting, something's being reboot either as a show or a film, what would your dream casting be?
Oh my, I'm terrible with these questions when I think about it in advance. What would be a great reboot?
Hollyoaks, but for Hollywood.
It's a
very English reference.
But I wouldn't even know where to begin. Live action Scooby-Doo, I'll play Scooby-Doo.
Oh, so no Shaggy, I like the green top and everything.
I'm typecast, man.
Pretty much on colour,
Yeah.
No, I'll be a dog.
Shaggy and Velvet. Yeah, the dog. It's
How
called-
about Scooby-Doo where you play all the parts?
Yeah, like
Yeah. Really just go for it. Kickstarter, get a passion project going. I think it'll work.
My life's work dedicated to playing Scooby-Doo.
We should probably throw to the
Yeah, we're gonna let you guys ask some questions because we love chatting, but you guys will kill us if we don't. So in a second,
questions. Thomas over here.
we got a question. Get your hand
So
up.
raise your hand if you've got a
Do
question.
not be shy. These two girls down here are thinking about questions. I can see. Yeah, we got one at the front.
One in the front there, one in the
Right
front.
first.
We're coming back to you two.
You better have a question in a second.
What's your question?
Hello, and welcome to Belgium. I think I get in feedback. I was wondering, because you mentioned you just asked for the, most terrible suit, but how was it for the, because I remember the show having like really nice costumes.
Yeah.
So was there a lot of choosing, or was there any oversight of how were the costumes chosen and how did you end up with the costumes?
Oh, well, there was so much effort put into the costumes. Like the designs that they had, like for the uniform and everything, they were so thorough. There was this literally hall like we are here, just full of costumes.
Wow.
Just they literally just went mad on like buying clothes, and they were just everywhere. So we would have like costume fittings, and they would just like spend however much time you wanted, like just going through like the specifics of the character, like what would you wear, and like Mark had such a great eye for it. He was like, no, we've got to get more layers in there. We've got to get more layers. That was his always key one. But there was like a lot of attention to the costume. When I say terrible suit, it was a great suit. But my memo was make it as like cringy and awful as possible.
Yeah, really from suit.
Yeah. Full 70s mode.
Yeah. I think you look great. I would wear that in real life.
So would I afterwards as an afterthought, because we have the trousers normally. I was like, Mark, please pleat them, please give me a little bit of
Yeah. I wanna feel good when I walk. Yeah. Questions? Get your hands up. Don't be shy. I know it's early. Come on, guys. I can see so many of you thinking about it.
Thomas,
I'm gonna ask you guys some questions.
These girls want to ask something for sure. Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah. Any question, girls? That's so giggly. It's really cute.
You said you wanted to ask a question.
I'll ask some questions. Okay, let's do a poll.
Okay, let's do a poll. Get you loosened up.
What was like everyone's favourite episode?
Okay, yeah.
Open question.
Let's see. Everyone's got to say the dancer. It's got to be the last one.
Last one. Well, the last episode, the final one, or the dance one.
The prom one was that Oh my god, you are good at remembering the key words all around. You are very good at just knowing your job, yeah. In my head, that was the last one. That was incredible. Like, I remember like being really into the show, watching it, and like, it's so good, but that episode was just like, it felt really like, oh, this is lovely, and that's where it really felt its own thing. And I really think that's going to be the lasting image and the thing that keeps it, coming back in it again and again.
How did you find the red paint blood situation?
Alright, so there was 2 types of blood that we had, right? So, and we shot it on like, I think 2 or 3 days, we had the whole blood scene thing. So like the first thing that came down was like watered down like red paint. It was pink, it was like, oh no, it wasn't pink blood, it's in the show, yeah.
That's the 70s,
It is blood, yeah. No, it was something else.
It's usually corn syrup, isn't it?
It was something, no, corn syrup was the second one that we had, and that tasted really nice. Yeah, it was like cinnamony. And so they put that in your face. It wasn't up there, it was like, between takes.
The background show, you just don't.
Yeah, the bloopers are like foul to look at. It's licking our faces. But yeah, this other one that came down was like, it was cold. Oh, we did this in February in Romania, and this like, there was no heating on in this. It was a huge studio, like far bigger than this, like an airport hangar, like enormous, and it was freezing. And like, I felt really bad because I had a great like costumer who would like look after me and like fix costume and all the great jobs that they have to do. And she came up to me with like a foil blanket straight away to keep me warm, right? I'm the only one on set that's got this foil blanket on.
What an ego.
I was like, yeah, it's like I feel totally like Madonna right now.
Oh, it's very adorable.
I was like, oh, take it off, this is embarrassing. She was like, you're cold. I was like, I know I'm cold, but I can't give it away.
It's just 2 weeks later when that one person just keeps hugging you, so you're like, this is getting a bit extreme now.
Like Jenna was like, everyone eventually got 4 blankets, and she was like, she just didn't have one. She didn't get one, she didn't ask for one. She was just on set, and we had to like go back because they had to clean it up, and everything was just a mess. You know what it turned into. And I was like, oh, 4 blanket on. She's like, no. She was just Wednesday mode. She was just like full Wednesday mode. She's like, no, I don't need a blanket.
I'm like, 7 blankets, please.
Yeah, mate, I'm in Madonna mode, so like, I'm with that opinion.
Was it all shot in Romania?
All of it, 7 months.
I just assumed it would have been sets for the internal stuff.
Yeah, so
even the water scenes.
Yeah, oh my god. So the water scenes. So the shot that we did. So I'm gonna have to spoil a little bit of Movie Magic here. Do you want me to spoil it or not?
Absolutely. Look at these people. They're like, give us the dirt.
Do you get the inside of the Movie Magic here? So all the stuff that you see underwater is filmed in a tank, right? A huge tank. It's like however many foot deep. It's really
like a
deep.
water tank, not like an army one.
Yeah.
Specific.
We borrowed it from the Brad Pitt film. yes, this huge water tank in this whole room, and it's like a sauna in there. It's beautiful. You go in there, but it's really deep. I had to like learn how to scuba dive and stuff down there because it's all underwater cameras, and they speak to you on a radio. So like, okay, we're gonna start shooting in 3, 2, 1, and then you've got to be ready, and you've got to throw like the oxygen mask you have out, and then you go, and they like pull you along, or you're swimming after something, or you're pushing a boat, or something happens. So much fun to film. That was great. There was another part of it that was shot, which is actually in the lake. You know all the bits that you see them rolling, right? Like, so there's the shot where Joy, or Bianca in the show, gives the thumb up to me, and I pop my head out the water mischievously, and then pop down, a little bit dick dastardly and muttly, you know, wacky racist, that's what it's like. And anyway, so we're shooting this on this big pontoon out on this lake. And so it took us 4 days to shoot it. So Monday, Tuesday, it's beautiful weather, right? Absolutely beautiful weather. And I've got the shirt on, and the part of the thing I have to do, you see me buttoning it down in the show, they luckily cut, but I'm supposed to have a Clark Kent moment, which I'm pretty annoyed about. I worked out pretty hard for that. And I've got to rip my shirt off and then jump into the water, right? So there's that. And that was on a beautiful sunny day. Lighting was great, couldn't have complained, right? And then it was the water on Wednesday, right? It was about 20 degrees on Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday it dropped by 10 degrees. It was 10 degrees, right? And there was a wind. There was a wind and it picked up. And I
Get the foil blankets.
Yeah.
Your daughter over here is going to be cold.
Madonna travelling. But yeah, I literally heard on the radio, it was like, alright, we're going to travel over to set now about 4 o'clock, and that's when the wind picked up. It's like, oh my god. And I'm literally, the only thing I have on are these tiny, like, Daniel Craig Casino Royale trunks, right? The smallest things in the world. They get me out on this pontoon, and Tim's going, alright, so you're going to, you know, jump in the water, I'm going to shoot you, you put your head out of the water, and then go back down. I was like, okay, great. So, just as we're about to go, right? Because there's the boy that I pushed in the way, like this orange boy, and so it's supposed to be behind me in the shot.
Oh, as in the floating boy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that.
Yes,
Get in there.
imagine that boy behind us, yeah. But yeah, so there's this big orange boy that is pushed in front of the boats, and then the boat snaps, right? And then I come out, and go back under, right? So they have a rope connecting to this boy, like down to the bottom of the water, and then another one to a boat, like a small boat beside it. And they put me in the water's obviously freezing, right? So I'm stood in there like 5 minutes, ready to go, and they go, okay, let's shoot. 3, 2, 1, cut the rope. And they cut the wrong rope. So this boy goes flying down this lake, right, with the wind, and I'm stood there in the water going, oh no. And Tim just is like, you know, got to wait like 5 minutes for them to go and get the boy again. And there was a guy who was measuring the platform for me to stand on the water, because it's obviously quite deep, and there was a platform there for me. This guy's like 6 foot, so I'm like stood above the platform, like yeah, it was a lot of fun, but yeah. So that was shot outside the water. I suffered for the art then, but no, it's well worth it. It's a you know.
I mean, look, yeah, it looks incredible. Oh, even I'm cold just thinking about it.
Tell us about the audition process. Like, do they have to see you swim, or?
Do you know what, it's funny, so I grew up in Spain, so every house in Spain, because it gets so hot in the summers, has a swimming pool, right? So I like, learned to swim at 3, my granddad picked me up and threw me in the pool, and like, you know, every man for himself. So that was obviously a big part of the show, but they just put it in the brief, like, can he swim? You know, and they got Michael Phelps, so, you know.
Yeah, tell you that.
I did more swimming on the show than acting. I was up for an Oscar, I was up for a gold medal.
You're just smashing records left, right, centre.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, how long can you hold your breath for?
Oh, Joe, we did practice this.
Because that is the difference between a long take and a, oh my god, I'm dying.
Yeah, no, that was like a really big consideration. Because I started doing the swimming at home, like before we got to Romania, and then I was doing all these like different strokes, front crawl, butterfly. I was like, hang on, mermaids don't swim like Olympians, you know? They don't swim above water. Part of the subtlety is that they go underwater.
Yeah, you never see a mermaid doing butterfly.
Not until now. But yeah, so we had to practice the breath hold. So I had a great stunt double, Andre, and we would like challenge each other. He became more my coach towards the end, and we would just like push each other all the time. It was so competitive, like who could push further. So we're in this like, again, like another tank in like northern part of Bucharest. And we were going it like pretty much every day of the week, 2 hours, like in the morning, and yeah, we would practice the breath holds, how many laps we could do underwater, and I think I got to 90 meters. And on the last day, he eclipsed me. My record stood for like a few days. My dad came out to visit me. I knew he was watching. I was like, right.
He was just in the back of the set, gave you a thumbs up and walked away.
Literally, yeah. I just saw him like underwater. I was like, I'm doing this for my
I've been
dad.
holding my breath for too long.
Yeah, there's a scene from Titanic, another Titanic reference, we floating on. And then yeah, he eclipsed me just at the end, got like 93 or 94, and I was gutted. I was like, right, you know, you have the bragging rights, it's cool, you're the stunt man, you have it.
That is 90 meters has blown my mind.
Yeah.
That's so far. It's not much difference in this room.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's a lot longer when you're swimming it. Yeah.
That last 40 meters was hell. How are we doing for time, Mac?
Yeah, we'll have to wrap it up soon.
Does anyone have a question before we go? We're going to give you one last chance to few more of your life. Anyone want to question Oliver? Where he was on the 14th of July? Anything like that?
Don't say that. Yes, maybe.
Oliver, you are done the best thing that we left. You've been the greatest first guest. You've set the trend for the weekend. This has been lovely.
Yeah, in fact, I think we're going to have to ask all of our other guests how long they can hold their breath for.
Yeah. If anyone comes and beats me, send them over to my table.
Yeah.
But no competition later.
At the end of the day, we're going to get all the guests on stage and just clamp your noses.
I reckon Van Damme can do a solid 100 meters.
I reckon Van Damme doesn't even breathe.
Yeah.
I have that Van Damme has no foil blankets.
That's a true test of a man. If you can survive without 4 blankets in the wild, you know, not like me.
Later on, we're going to go around and get just your thing like that.
Yeah, we're just going to go on. Yeah. I can just go ghost.
Where's Madonna? He's over there.
Oliver, this has been so lovely. Like I say, it's always like hardest being the first guest, but you've been an absolute dream. It's been such a nice chat.
Yeah, and you're doing signings and everything all weekend?
Yeah, you start with me, I'm over there the whole weekend, so you know, I'm going to annoy most of you, so if you want to come over and be annoyed, come see me.
And if you wanted to kick you in the shins doing the worm, that costs quite a lot of money. It's a bespoke experience.
That's for free. Just don't sue me.
We're gonna, you know what to do. He's been our first guest, he's been wonderful. Give it up for Oliver Watson.
And these guys too, amazing questions.
We always get a little photo with all the guests, so you guys will be in the background of this, so please, do your big faces. Ready, and go! Everyone behind us, I'm not looking, so you can literally do anything! One more time!
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes!
That's all.
Yeah, we'll see you back there in a second. We are having about half an hour break, and then we've got, it's pretty amazing.
Leo Thompson!
We got Leah Thompson who takes a feature. What was that? I love it. So come back for that. Enjoy the con. If you've not been here before, there is a whole other building over the way. That's where the Geek Market is. So please do make your way over there once you've done these halls.